welcome back from that short commercial break and to this particular segment of the business and entertainment, where we really look at what's happening that side, about looking at business in the business perspective. And of course, this morning we start with Todd and Julie Priestley, who were sentenced for fraud and tax crimes convictions. And of course, these are reality TV stars. That's Julie and Todd Priestley, were sentenced to prison. That's in the federal court.
Todd and Julie Priestley are sentenced in their tax fraud case.
And of course, looking
on
at
November 20.
The Priestley Knows Best couple were found guilty in June of conspiracy to defraud banks of more than 30 million. That's in fraudulent loans. And of course, the media previously reported, and of course, in addition, they were found guilty of several tax crimes, including attempting to defraud the Internal Revenue Service. And of course, Judge Elena L. Rose sentenced Todd Priestley to 12 years in prison with 3 years of supervised release. And of course, his wife, Julie Priestley, was sentenced to 7 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release. And of course, their accountant, Peter, Tarantino, was sentenced to 3 years in prison and 3 years of supervised release. Of course, that's what is really transparent right there. And of course, looking at Ryan Buchan, the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia, said during a press conference after sentencing the hearing, and of course, according to the Department of Justice, there is evidence that in the case that was showed that Priestleys were able to obtain loans by submitting false bank statements. Now, this is what really happened with this particular couple. They were, running that reality TV show, and they could get quite lots of loans. You've heard of a saying that says that you borrow from Peter to pay Paul. So that's what has been really moving on, and it came to an estimation that they have so far defrauded 30 million, of course, US dollars. That's the amount that has been, of course, really come into the defraud. And of course, the reality TV show, they normally portray quite lots of luxury, spending money, and of course, that is something very sad. And also, there were issues regarding the tax frauds, but the biggest percentage has been really largely on bank frauds. And of course, still, like I was saying here, that according to the Department of Justice, evidence in the case showed that Todd and Priestley were able to obtain loans by submitting false bank statements, audit reports, and financial statements. The money was used to buy luxury cars, designer clothes, real estate, and travel. And of course, a DOJ press release stated regarding that. And of course, still further, we see that while earning millions of dollars on their former reality TV show, the Priestleys, along with their accountants, conspired to defraud the IRS and evade collection of delinquent taxes. Priestley Knows Best, of course, the reality TV show debuted that was in 2014 in the United States of America. That's on the USA Network. And of course, the new episodes filmed prior to the trial will debut that sometime, of course, next year. And of course, still in a short statement from the press, that's in June, one of the Todd Priestley's attorneys, Bruce Morris, said they were disappointed by the verdict and planned, of course, to appeal. And of course, we see that CNN reached out to representatives on the Priestley and Toronto for the comment on Monday's sentencing. So you see, that was quite unfair. Now, these are people, despite the fact that they had this kind of fame, they used it quite in a wrong way, defrauding banks. They borrow money from one bank to clear a loan from another bank, and they find that their life has been always moving on that, borrowing and borrowing. So a time came, and of course, they defaulted on some loans and also issuing false statements. And this should be a lesson, I guess, to any person that is participating in entertainment, that as far as you actually earning this money, make sure that you really use it. I believe this show really generated lots of money, but the money that they obtained from the show was used to, of course, to buy the luxury cars, trying to prove a point, and of course, and with a desire to think that probably if they do that, they will be having the most valuable show, outcompeting other shows. But how do you use your money that you actually earn from your craft? That's very important as an entertainer right there, as somebody that is participating into this industry. Of course, we are far out of time, it's now 54 minutes. And now let's, of course, go briefly looking at Kenzo. and of course seeing that the first Ugandan nominated for the Grammy Awards. But now today the ultimate question is, what does a Grammy nomination really mean? What are the financial benefits of actually winning, not actually winning, but being nominated into the Grammy Award? And of course we have quite so many cases, but for the interest of time, I'm not really going to dwell so much on them. And of course, just to give a brief story on what a nomination means, the financial benefits that come along here. There is a story of a veteran rocker, that was Sammy Hagar, of course, who won for the now the defunct Best Hard Rock Performance category. That was on 34th Annual Grammy Awards, and of course, fronting Van Halen and his bandmates didn't make the ceremony, but he does believe that anyone is indeed flattered to be up for a Grammy. Well, now talking about the Grammy, actually there is some other personnel that came up and said that actually being nominated on a Grammy Award, the impact of it can actually be quite so long lasting as compared to when you win it. So it's like being nominated is equivalent to winning this Grammy Award. And this calls out for quite so many people that are going to look out for you, for your music. And we are looking at endorsements at different companies, because there is a perception that people are attached to the Grammy. Remember, these are international awards that are cutting across the entire world. They are not limited to other awards which are limited to like America, are limited like to the black society, but now these ones are interracial. They call upon all races, all entertainers across all races to come together. So in this way, if you're spotted to be a very potential personnel, that's to be a part of this, that will be something very, very influential for your economic benefit. Remember, if companies are going to easily trust your music, record labels are easily going to trust you because you're going to look a potential asset, let me say that. And of course, the endorsements, your terms of agreement, you're going to have a command regarding your terms of agreement, which is not the case regarding to when actually nobody knows you, you know. And you know, being a nomination on the Grammy Award is enough. You don't have to speak too much if you probably are trying to speak about yourself. One of the best ways you can start to introduce yourself to before a committee, you know, before a particular company that probably wants to use your soundtrack into their advertisement. Of course, you will have to just tell them, you know what, this song you're trying to use as a soundtrack was nominated on the Grammy Awards in this particular year. So because of this case, I would propose this amount of money if I'm to sign this contract. So you can see that you will be in position to actually have a greater say regarding this. So Chantal, see this, Kenzo, I mean, being nominated on the Grammy,
right.
We look at the financial benefits regarding this. I believe Time to Come is going to be one of the most expensive artists to really deal with. If you're a company and you want to use him on your drives and probably his music playing on your drive, I believe it's going to be quite costly. What's your brief take on this? Just
well, when you look at things like the Grammys, you look at the different awards actually that happen, the Oscars, name it, especially for the entertainment industry. The fact that you are a nominee, even on your profile, you can just upload it, and it means something.
A lot.
The fact that you are recognized and you were nominated, it has a lot of financial implications, good financial implications, if I may say, because your bargaining power grows.
Exactly.
You're not going to have me on a world tour and you're going to pay me less money.
Perfect.
If I'm appearing in a different country, I'm going to have to, there is that value it adds to you as an artist. So it's good for Kenzo. I have seen controversies though. I've seen videos that have come out of individuals claiming that the recently concluded festival was theirs, and apparently it was supposed to happen before COVID, and money was given in compensation to Kenzo actually. But this particular individual took the money, and now he's crying and saying that the recently concluded concert, the festival should have been his.
Okay.
Yet he was compensated. You understand? So you realize that already Kenzo has put himself somewhere in terms of what this industry holds. And he has outdone himself. So this is good news for Uganda and for Kenzo in terms of business. And he's headed for great stuff, that's for sure.
Really,
financially great stuff.
He must be heading for that. All right, this particular time, let's get into a short break. Of course, we'll return with more insights.